Hi, folks. Welcome to Lotus and the Light. My name's Jennifer. Thanks for joining. If you stumbled upon this video or found your way here, I believe it's because Divine Spirit has a message for you. So stick with me and let's see. I believe Spirit is going to communicate not just through me, but also through you at the same time, giving messages that hopefully will be confirming as you hear my words. So this is a collaboration, a collaborative effort, three-way, you, me, and Spirit. Okay. So let's just open up by opening up our channel to Spirit. Let's start with a deep breath. Letting go of any tension, relaxing your body. If you need to take another deep breath, do that. We're just inviting Spirit of divine love and light into this space with us. We are opening our heart. I want you to visualize your heart opening like a flower, allowing the light of God to pour out of you so that God can be heard and experienced and understood through you. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. We're going to try something new because that's what this is all about. We're just trying new things. So tonight I think I'm going to try reading a scripture. And I saw that the scripture popped up earlier on my Bible app as like the scripture of the day. And I read it and I thought, maybe we'll try something where we'll take this text that I think is a grossly misinterpreted text, frequently misinterpreted. And maybe just try to channel some spirit and some guidance and how we might ought to think differently about it. And I'll say again, it gets touchy for folks who are deeply rooted in certain ways of interpreting these texts to then challenge that. So if the way that you're interpreting it today brings you joy, comfort, peace, the fruit of the Spirit, if it's guiding you towards the fruit of the Spirit, then you hold to that interpretation. There's no reason to change it. For those of you that might be questioning some things or might hear this text and be like, I don't know that that sits right for me anymore. I don't know that I hold that in truth anymore. I'd like to explore some alternative ideas. I just want to remind you, please don't have fear about that. You will not be punished for that. I promise you. You can point to her and say, she told me to do it. I'll take the blame. I'll take the blame. Okay. That is not the spirit that we serve. That is not the God that we serve. I promise you. Okay. So the text is Matthew 16:24. Then Jesus said to his disciples, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, take up their cross, and follow me. And I want to talk about this text because I think it's most commonly interpreted, at least in my circle of influence, has been most commonly interpreted to be a description of a life that is about sacrifice, about struggle. So think about denying themselves, taking up their cross, and following Jesus. Jesus's life wasn't easy, right? So it has very much I hate to say a negative connotation, but it kind of does. But with a spirit of willingness, like I'm willing to take on this suffering. I'm willing to take on this rejection. I'm willing to take on this giving up these things that I otherwise would have held dear to follow Christ. Okay. So that's kind of the interpretation. And if that's the interpretation you've had, then just know that that is where my previous belief system was. So you're in good company, man. But I do think differently about it today. And so I want to talk about another way that we might interpret that. And I want to start with a card just to kind of guide the discussion. But I think what it means to deny ourselves, in my opinion, is a little bit different than at least the way I believed it before, and possibly the way you might be believing it today. And taking up our cross, and what does that mean? I've got some ideas about that as well. And again, if you like your belief system about this text, then this message might not be for you. But if you are here, I believe you're here for a reason. So, okay, so this is the Light Code Apothecary. Um, maintaining your light even in the dark. So just want to open us up with one idea, one card. So just asking Spirit to kind of set the direction and tone of this conversation, and just pointing us onto the path. And while I'm shuffling and waiting for something to fall out, oh, there it is. Okay, we got it. 70. It is the last card. Trust and truth. You hold the keys to the answer you seek. Spirit, I mean, come on with your bad self. Come on. A reach. Okay, look at that. Trust and truth. You hold the keys. Now, 70 breaks down to a 7. And 7 for me is a direct message from God. Okay. It is all about an internal Spirit asking you to look inside of you to it's about transformation. It's about rebirth. Okay, this is a direct message from Spirit. So, and Spirit is tingling me right now too. I call it I call it tapping on my back. So when I say that, just know that it's a little tingle. So we're on track. We are on track. Okay, trust and truth. You hold the keys to the answers you seek. This is what I'm about to talk about. So this text right here, we've interpreted a very certain way. Usually we are afraid to reconsider our interpretations of texts because it somehow can feel uh, like we are turning against God or not trusting in God, that somehow the interpretation we've been given was God's interpretation and anything different is not. And I'm here to tell you every interpretation you've ever heard of the texts came from man. And we'll talk a little bit even through this scripture about that interpretation. So trust yourself. You hold the keys to the answer you seek. You know why? Because you are made of God. God is in here. You know the truth, and you'll know it when you hear it. And even if that changes throughout your life, again, we're on a journey. So things that are true for us for a time, as we grow and change, all of a sudden sometimes don't feel true for us anymore. And that's why we don't need to cling to this absolute truth in this life. That's not what this life's about. I'm not saying there isn't absolute truth, but what I'm saying is the truth that matters in this life is the truth that helps guide you to a path of discovering your soul self, your true self, your authentic self, and connecting you with Christ consciousness. That's the truth that matters. And that's going to be different for different people at different times in their life. Okay, so trust and truth. Let's get to it. Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. What does that mean? Okay, so what does it mean to deny themselves? I think that the text, most people interpret that as like dying to yourself, dying to your humanness, giving up giving up the things that you care about or that are important to your humanness for more important spiritual matters. I don't think that's entirely wrong by any stretch. I just think we take it to a degree that we don't need to, because what I really think it means is, and if you're driving, pause this, watch it, look at it when you can see what I'm doing. I think it means it's about I don't even like to use the word dying, but it's about, when it says deny themselves, it's about denying the ego to prioritize the soul. Okay. So I don't, a lot of people, actually Christian religion, even Eastern religions, have similar idea about dying to self or dying to ego. I don't believe in that. We have the ego for a reason. A lot of our ego can be, a lot of times our ego can be a motivator even. It can be used for good. You have this ego because the ego is reflective of the components of your soul that your soul wanted to come here and work on. And so it's the components of the soul that need to be grown and developed, but also the components of the soul that are helping you to grow and develop. So the love, the compassion, the empathy, whatever that is, the nurturing, plus whatever it is you need to work on. That's your ego, that makes up your ego, minus, and then forgetting all the rest of it, right? So the ego in and of itself isn't bad. It just doesn't have full perspective. So you don't need to die to ego. Ego has a purpose and a role. You just need to put it in its proper place, proper priority. Your spirit, your soul, and your connection to the divine has a much greater, truer perspective. So when you can deny yourself, meaning deny your ego, then you have a more Christ-like perspective. So deny yourself. So put your soul over your ego, which is going to connect you to God, and then take up your cross. Now, this is a tricky one, right? So most people think of the cross as that burden you bear. It's a heavy burden, right? Um, it has the political implications of Rome. Rome would hang people on the cross. It was their way of saying, you're not in power, we are, right? So it was very, it sent a message, right? Like, we'll show you who's in charge here. We're going to hang you on this cross. But they chose a cross. It had meaning before it became a political meaning. And so what that meaning really was, not, I won't say in Christianity, but in Judaism, as well as other like Eastern, like Hinduism and Buddhism, like there's the the metaphor of the cross was about the connection of divine, connection to heaven, connection to God, and connecting that, opening up that connection to also your connection to earth as a human, to your connection to all of God's creation, to other people, to nature, all of those. It was the connection, it was the channel, it was the opening of that channel. So when you move out of the Jewish thought of it into like the more Eastern, like Hinduism, for example, it aligns with your chakras. So you have your bottom three chakras that are about your humanness, the 666. We'll get into that later. That's about your humanness, right? You've got your root chakra, your sacral chakra, your solar plexus. Then you have the upper three chakra energy centers in your body that are about your connection to spirit. You've got your crown chakra that sits up here. You've got your third eye that sits right here. And you've got your throat chakra that's right here. That's about hearing and have in your voice, hearing, speaking, communicating through spirit. And then you have the seventh chakra right here in the center, the heart chakra. It connects them all. So you have your chakras this way, and then all of this energy connects out to the world through the heart chakra because we are all divinely connected. We are all the same energy. Okay. So take up your cross means open the channel up to God, open the channel out to your fellow brothers and sisters and to nature and to all of creation. That's the divine right there. That's the divine. So deny your ego, meaning just reprioritize and give your heart the priority position over ego. Open yourself up, take on the cross, right? Open yourself up. And then you can also take that political stance if you want, like not just opening yourself up to the divine and to nature, but also ready and willing to, you have such faith in belief in what this is that you are ready and willing to die for it if that's what it comes down to. I will bring you my stake and matches if you want to burn me at the stake for my belief system, is essentially what that's come to mean today in terms of just using the cross as the metaphor instead of the stake and the matches. for your beliefs, and follow me. And so that's the part where Christ came here to show us the way. Now we think, I think we misinterpret and think that, now we bow down to him. And if we don't bow down to him and we don't do these certain things, that we're going to go to hell because he's the only way. And Christ is the way, because we are all made of the same energy. We are all made of the same divine, we all come from the same divine God as Christ. That is the way. And Christ consciousness is as close as we will ever get to God. And that is what we're aspiring for. That is the way, 100%. But I don't think it's about doing this, bowing. It's about following his example. He came here to set an example. And in the first few hundred years of Christianity, there was a different perspective of Christ's life and ministry and the Christian mission that was more centered around inner transformation. The cross was about transformation. And what happened was, over time, as Christianity, about 300 years after Christ, as Christianity started to become part of the empire of the Roman Empire, it became the religion of the state. That's when it started to morph away from a faith about personal transformation and connection to creation, to a faith about a transactional faith, a faith about you did this, so you owe this, and when you pay this, then you get this, and if you don't pay this, then you get this. It became very transactional, right? It became you sin, Jesus died for your sin, you do this so that you can go to heaven. And that's when it took a turn. And those in power are the ones that dictated those interpretations of those texts. And we were told not to challenge those interpretations. And you don't see those other interpretations anymore in any, or you don't see it in what has been christened as the text. Or, sorry, I'm getting off track, but those voices were kind of diminished, that had the more transformational perspective of Christianity. So, okay, I guess I'll leave it there. I'll close with one more card, but here, you heard my thoughts on it. You don't have to believe them. This is your journey. You believe what is going to draw you closer to your divine self. But trust and truth. You hold the keys. You hold the keys, and you do. You hold them right here. So trust and truth. Okay, so I just pulled this Jiminy Christmas. I don't know if I should count this one because I literally didn't even shuffle yet. But I'm gonna go with it. Astral Waters. Okay, this is funny. I'm definitely gonna go with this. This is my Ocean Dreams deck. I need to read up on it. I really don't know anything about it, but it's funny because I brought my water in here because I was thirsty. And I thought to myself, I need to talk to them about water. And I forgot to mention it, but this is reminding me now. So Astral Waters, and I'm going to read this because I have no idea what this is about. Let me see. Well, before I look at this, let me tell you what I was thinking that Spirit was kind of guiding me to before. The reason that I think we get baptized when we are reborn, in the Christian faith, or why that was something that Jesus taught, why he used water, is because I believe that we put God in a box. We put ourselves in a box, a very rigid box. And anything outside of that, like, it just doesn't fit. It has to be within this box. And so what I believe the symbolism is behind a water baptism is breaking out of that box, because water is fluid. Water flows. We need to flow with Spirit. And we need to be flexible and allow that. We need to allow that to be transformed. So, let's see, Astral Waters. I mean, I see a woman here. She's like in a doorway. Boy, I am blind. It's just I don't have good light in here. But I mean, my interpretation of this is just that she's moving. She's moving through something and she's doing it. It almost looks like she's dancing. Her dress is flowing. It's like she's moving in a very fluid way. So let's read this. Astral waters. I guess I don't even know how to find this. I guess the alphabetic. That would put that at the beginning, right? Good grief. Here we go. It is at the beginning. Okay. Astral waters. Such tiny print. Ugh. Goddess energy. Please don't interpret that as male or female. It's not a gender thing. It is an energy thing, a masculine, feminine energy. Goddess energy, sacred temple, reclaiming the divine feminine. I am expansive. I am holy. I am blooming into my essence. The astral waters key is a sacred call to your own feminine temple. It dips into the deep, raw, and sensual nature within you, connecting to your holiness and freedom of expression. This key represents those watery rebirths. Oh, stop yourself. I mean, is that not spirit? Spirit told me that before I started this video when I picked up that water. Like, talk about the fluid motion of water. And here it is. The key represents those watery rebirths when you are coming out of your shell. It speaks of the shell is like the box. You got to get out of the box. Um, it speaks of the crossing of a threshold as you begin to heal after a painful experience, or when you reclaim the power of your physical body. You have the power. So again, going back to the Roman definition of that cross was all about who has the power? We do. And we decide what you do, what you believe, what you say. This is about taking your power back, reclaiming your power. You are being invited to celebrate love through your own sensuality. The many goddesses of the ages are channeled through this card. They want you to know that you too walk in beauty and that they are here to praise and assist you. Nurturance can be found within your own inner waters, in the beautiful chambers of your heart. This is a place of soulful worship, happiness, creation, laughter, grace, and intuitive power that can also be shared. It strengthens and supports your sense of self and helps ground you into your body. You are worthy of sweet, tender reverence. As a holy vessel, you are an expression of beauty and spirit in human form. Many of us have been led to believe that our sexuality is to be hidden or repressed, and historically the divine feminine has been vilified and controlled. But as humans, love is the deepest essence of who we are, and our sensuality is but on the bridge to our fullest embodiment. This card wants you to witness the miracle of your sensuality, to lead with beauty and grace in your own unique way and reconnect with your absolute bliss, to soften into your own self-devotion, to unfold into the flowering of your creative garden. Allow this magic to flow effortlessly into everything you do and express like a river of nourishment. If you have felt blockages or stagnant waters preventing this release, it is time to open up the floodgates and let go of the internalized pressures. And I do believe that a lot of the pressures that we feel in this life come from interpretations like I just shared with you from Matthew 16:24, where we think of those texts as being calls to a life of utter, it is a life of sacrifice, but not a sacrifice of joy, a sacrifice of allowing the ego to rule. That's it. We still are entitled to joy. In fact, we're encouraged to it. So I will leave it there. I love you so much. Thank you for joining. Peace out.